I love the energy, the enthusiasm. Hollywood!
This is Utah Tech football and the Lance Anderson Coaches Show.
A lot of good work. I'm really proud of you guys.
And hi there, everybody. Welcome to the debut of the Lance Anderson Coaches Show. Rod Zundel here, along with the head coach of Utah Tech football, Coach Lance Anderson. Welcome to St. George. Welcome to your locker room here in the CEC studios.
It's great to be here. It's hard to believe it's already time for the season, but we're excited.
What a whirlwind 9 months it's been for you. December, you were announced as the new head coach of Utah Tech. Spring ball, fall ball, and now you're 4 days away from opening up against the fourth-ranked team in FCS. How do you like them apples?
We've got a big challenge ahead of us. There's no question about that.
It's gone by quickly, hasn't it?
It really has. Like I said, it is hard to believe we're at this point. There's been so much that we've done between December and here, but it has gone fast.
Saturday night, 8 o'clock at Greater Zion Stadium. It's the season opener, the home opener against the fourth-ranked Montana State Bobcats. They already played one game. They beat New Mexico in Albuquerque, FBS school, last Saturday. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But for those who aren't acquainted with Lance Anderson, just give us a little bit of history of who you are, where you're from, and what you've done with your life.
I love coaching. I'll tell you that. I grew up in southern Idaho. I kind of feel like this is close to home. I feel like this area is close to home for me. Started out my coaching career at Idaho State, moved around to several other different places. That's the nature of coaching.
You played at Idaho State. Kyle Whittingham was your coach, right?
He was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
great. What a great man. What a great coach.
You've had some great mentors, and I'm sure you're going to mention them. Kyle's just was the start of it there. So go ahead.
Exactly. And like I said, kind of bounced around coaching at some smaller schools like Idaho State, Bucknell University, St. Mary's College, University of San Diego. I was at Utah State. Then went to Stanford and was there for 16 years. And that's kind of unheard of in coaching, but it was a great opportunity to be at one place for 16 years. Last year I had the chance to be at Boise State, which is another great program. And like you mentioned, Rod, over those years I had a chance to be around a lot of great coaches and had a chance to learn from a lot of great guys like Jim Harbaugh, David Shaw, Vic Fangio, Derek Mason, and I could go on and on. But it seems like all those coaches that I've worked with, you learn something from everyone, and you learn things that you want to incorporate as a coach, and it's been great.
Most notably, you were a defensive coordinator, I believe, the last 6 years at Stanford under David Shaw. What did you learn in a Power 5 institution like that and playing against that competition that you try to bring here at Utah Tech?
At Stanford, we had the opportunity to build that program into one of the top programs in college football and had a lot of great teams, a lot of great players, and we played a tough, physical brand of football. Like when we were at the top of our game, I think we were one of the most physical teams in college football, and that's what we want to do here. A team that's tough, a team that's physical, a team that plays hard, and that's the kind of program we want to build here.
So you've got a lot of questions. You don't have really a quarterback returning from last year. As we go through your quarterback, obviously everybody wants to know about that. The last 2 years, the starting quarterbacks, they've all transferred out, including Kobe Tracy from a year ago. But you've got to transfer. Let's start. You got three, and we're not going to get you to announce a starter tonight. I know that. But you have three battling for the job. Let's start with Deacon Hill, transfer from Iowa. Started 9 games last year. He was 6-3, about 49% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Kind of across the board, Rod, we don't have a ton of experience, but I think we've got some talent at all positions. That definitely is the case at the quarterback position. Deacon Hill, really big kid, strong, physical kid, really powerful arm. And he can make all the throws. He's got great experience playing in the Big Ten last year. And so he brings a lot to the table. And for someone who just got here in the summer, he's picked up the offense really quickly. And I think has gotten better and better and is performing at a high level right now.
They changed offensive coordinators at Iowa. That's one reason why he transferred. Also, he's from California. His grandparents live in Vegas. You know who his grandparents are? Sam Battistone, who brought the Utah Jazz from New Orleans to Salt Lake City in 1979.
Yeah. Back when I was a little kid, big Jazz fan
I know,
in those days.
When he told me that, I said, oh, man, I remember that. If not for his grandpa, the Jazz probably wouldn't have been in Salt Lake City right now. And Utah. That's
Lucky.
incredible. So then you've got another transfer from Syracuse, Luke McPhail. He's only thrown one pass in his collegiate career in the last year at Syracuse. Talk a little bit about his game and what he brings to the table.
You know, Luke transferred here in the spring, so he's gone through the spring with us.
That's Reggie Graff. Let's go to Luke McPhail. Okay, anyway, go ahead. What are you talking about?
You know, so Luke McPhail transferred in the spring, so he's got a lot of experience going through the spring with us, then through the fall. I mean, Luke was a very decorated high school quarterback in Massachusetts, highly recruited. Boy, Luke's game, I mean, he's smart, makes good decisions, very efficient, very accurate, and you know, he brings a lot to the table as well.
And then you got the local kid out of Dixie High School, Reggie Graff, third year here, and he's still a freshman. And he's probably the most athletic out of this group, has a little different dimension. He can run the ball, maybe help with some different packages you like.
Reggie is a very good athlete, and I think the more he plays, the more reps he gets, the more polished he gets as a quarterback. And I think it's just an added dimension that he brings with his athletic ability, his ability to run. But he's getting better and better as a quarterback, better and better with his decision making.
And I hope I keep calling him Reggie Graff because I find myself calling him Reggie Shaw, a basketball coach at Bear River High School. And you know, when you get in your mind, you just when you get old, coach, you just kind of
I know the
slip up.
feeling. I'm getting there for sure.
So if I call him Reggie Shaw, you know who I'm talking about. Okay, so you're not going to let anybody know who the starter is, obviously. We'll find out when they take the first snap, right?
We will, and it's been a great competition, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised if all three of them are going to have a role, and you might see all three of them on Saturday night.
Now, one of your strengths, one of the position strengths, running backs, you've got a couple of running backs that are dynamic, then you've brought some another one in. Let's start with Chris Street, 393 yards, a couple of touchdowns a year ago.
Yeah, Chris is a transfer from Cal, so he's played in the Pac-12, had a solid season last year. I mean, he's got some real ability. He runs hard, he's a physical runner, and I think he's got a chance to be a really good running back for us.
He's quick from side to side.
He really is. He's got some great quickness, he's got some great power to him, you know, runs hard. I mean, he's a good football player, and we're excited to have him.
He likes to spin and jump over people. And then on the other hand, you've got Nigel Osborne. He had only 31 carries, 183 yards a year ago, a couple of touchdowns. But while Chris darts back and forth, boy, Nigel, when he gets head of steam, he goes.
Yeah, he really can. You know, runs very strong, runs physical, similar to Chris. And he's just a guy that's gotten better and better. I think with the new system in the spring, took him a little bit of time to learn that, but he's really had a strong fall camp.
And then you've got another a transfer from San Jose State, Shamar Garrett. Talk a little bit about him and what he brings, because he seems like he can play multiple positions.
He can, and he's a little bit different than Chris and Nigel, a little bit smaller, but very fast, very quick. You can utilize him in the pass game. We're going to utilize him as a returner on kicks and punts. But boy, he's electric.
And then you have Brenton Stone. He's been in the program a couple years from Snow Canyon High School, a transfer out of Snow. We played sparingly last year, 9 carries. So you've got 4 running backs that are capable if you need them all to play, right?
We definitely do, and we feel confident with all 4 of those guys. We'll rotate those guys through. In addition to playing running back, they're all good athletes. They will all help us on special teams as well.
Tight ends is another position I've heard you rave about, because you've got a couple returners. Jay McEwen, who's caught a number of balls the last couple of years. Eric Olson, local kid. And then you brought in a new guy that's a beast. I mean, he's like 6'4", and I call him Adonis. I mean, he doesn't just have a 6-pack, he's got a 12-pack, Coach.
Wait.
And that's Annie Falai.
Annie Falai is an impressive football player, and I'm very happy to have him. That was a big recruiting win for us to get him.
He's out of UMass, transferred from UMass.
Yep, and he was with us in the spring. He's just a phenomenal athlete and creates a lot of matchup problems for teams.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard for a DB to cover him. It's hard for a linebacker to match up with him. And he's a guy that we're excited to get the football to.
So those 3 guys right there, Alec Burton also will play into it as well, but that's your strength. Offensive line, you mentioned at the beginning of fall camp that maybe you're not as deep as you would like to be. A couple of guys, not a lot of experience. How has that progressed through fall camp?
that group has gotten better and better, and it started back in the spring where you could see it was a very inexperienced group, not a lot of guys who've had snaps in a college football game, but that group has gotten better and better. It really gelled together. And it's true, there's just not a lot of playing experience there, but it's a tough physical group. It's a group that really competes hard, and I think they've definitely got better throughout fall camp.
Now the group you're familiar with, that you've coached all your life, the defensive side, being a former linebacker that you were. Let's start with the secondary. Every one of your players that's going to get some playing time, they have valuable experience the last couple of years.
We do. That's the one position play on the team where we have some guys with some experience. They're still young guys. I think they're still getting better. I think their best football is ahead of them, but that group has some experience, and that group has a lot of talent. There's athletic ability, there's speed, there's length, and that's an exciting group. That group's got to make plays for us.
Then you move up to the linebacker position, and the kid out of Lone Peak, the junior, and we're going to hear from him and Annie coming up next segment, but Jared Fotu, when he hits you, you know it because you got bubbles spilling out your nose.
And I'll tell you what, as a coach on the football field, when he hits somebody, you hear it. He is a tough, physical kid, got a really great feel for the game, has a lot of leadership ability, and I'm expecting Jared to have a great season for us.
And then you lost Cyrus Webster, all conference defensive end, linebacker, and then Sam Konanata still working his way back. You got people to fill those shoes, and you excited about what you got?
We sure hope so. And I think that's a position where, as time's gone on, we've built depth there. Younger guys have gotten better and proven that they can get on the field. We were able to add some transfers there. And I think we've got some depth there. We've had some great competition there. I think that's a position that I feel a lot better about now than I did in the spring because of how hard that group has worked, how well Coach Robertson has done coaching that group. And we're going to need a great effort out of those guys against Montana State this week.
And before we take a break, for your kicking game, you got Andy Day, the punter. You're solid right there. And Uvadoff is going to fill the shoes of the all-time league scorer in Utah Tech history, Connor Brooksby, kicking field goals and kickoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Andy is a very experienced punter, has a strong leg. We're expecting big things out of him. And, Ilya has done a really good job as a kicker, very strong leg. I would expect most of his kickoffs to be in the end zone, and he's getting more and more consistent as a place kicker as well.
All right, we've pretty much had a rundown of the entire team, so we're going to take a break. When the Lance Anderson Coaches Show comes back, two of the players, Annie and Jared, will join us and get their thoughts on the upcoming season opener this Saturday. That's when the Lance Anderson Coaches Show comes back.
D.R. Horton is America's largest home builder, but with a local heart. Nestled just west of the Sand Hollow Recreation Area is a 600-acre master planned community with beautifully designed single-family homes, cottages, and townhomes called Long Valley. Visit us at drhorton.com and join us in continuing the American dream of home ownership and build your next home with D.R. Horton, America's builder. Hey there, sports fans. Ready to take a time out from the sidelines and jump into the action? St. George Regional Airport has you covered. Score big with convenient flights that take you from our Red Rocks to destinations around the globe. Whether it's the bright lights of L.A. or an exotic getaway across the Pacific, your adventure starts right here at home. When you're planning that epic getaway, St. George Regional Airport is your home field advantage.
And welcome back to Utah Tech Football and Lance Anderson Coaches Show. The Trailblazers getting ready for Montana State, the fourth-ranked team in FCS this Saturday night, season opener, 8 o'clock, Greater Zion Stadium. The coach is here, of course, and there is linebacker Jared Fotu. And tight end, receiver, whatever he wants to be, he can be it. That's Eddie Falai, the transfer from UMass. Gentlemen, welcome. So, Jared, we'll talk to you first. You're from Lone Peak High School. This is your third fall camp, right?
Yeah, third year.
Yeah, so just talk about how fall camp's gone, the new system, new coaching staff, new defensive coordinator. Just talk about what you see and what you're feeling going into Saturday night.
Yeah, I think it's been a great fall camp. We just rolled right through from spring ball through summer all the way through fall camp. I think we were able to, really pick up the new defense pretty well as a defensive unit, and we're just excited to play some real football on Saturday.
Any Falai, and that's the way you say it. It's not Falai as it's
Falai.
spelled. It's Falai, all right? And your transfer from UMass. First of all, how did you make your way here to St. George?
I got a really impressive phone call from Coach Anderson and Coach Stevens, and they really just convinced me that this was the best place for me to be, and so far that's true.
And how did you find out about this guy?
So actually, Coach Stevens had found out about Ennie when he was still at Southeastern Louisiana. They weren't going to have a spot for him there. As soon as I saw that film, I'm like, well, give me his number. I want to give him a call because we need him at Utah Tech.
Standing up next to this guy, even you're a big dude, but standing up next to him,
Tall.
it's tall, yeah, but I mean, his six-pack is more like a 12-pack. I mean, when I stood up side of you at practice, Eddie, I go, man. And then you remember your old playing days, right? And said, how would you ever try to tackle that guy?
That's like I said, he's a matchup nightmare. I mean, it's tough to cover him, tough to tackle him. I mean, whether he runs over a guy, I've seen him hurdle guys in practice. So.
Yeah. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your little journey to get to St. George.
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I come from a two-parent household, both my parents and my two sisters. And growing up, I did an extra year of high school, and I was at a boarding school, and it just gave me a great opportunity to play football at a high level.
So, how far west had you ever been before you came to St. George?
I've only ever taken vacations out here, just for a couple of days in
Had
California.
you ever been here in Utah?
Never before.
Where was your vacations out west?
I went to California.
Well, of course, yeah. So, a little different terrain here than Boston, right?
For sure, definitely much drier. Much drier.
Have you tried to keep him up on all the Utah stuff?
I don't know. I think it's just so different. You just gotta figure
Have you
it
had
out.
fry sauce yet, any?
Yes, I have.
And?
Everywhere has fry sauce. It's
And?
really good. It's really good.
Did you ever have that in Boston?
Never.
All right, Jared, talk about your defense. You lost Cyrus Webster last year, Max Christensen. You lost a couple of guys to the transfer portal. So, and graduation. Just talk about, what you're feeling, what you got coming back.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this year. We lost a couple guys last year, but man, some of these young kids have impressed me a lot. You know, some of these incoming freshmen and transfers from other schools. You know, they've been able to really fill those shoes pretty well, and I'm excited to obviously see what they can do when it comes game time. But I've been super impressed with how they've picked up, the college level of play and especially this defense.
All right, that's Jared Fotu, linebacker, junior, and coach. Do you consider him as your leader, as the guy that's coming back, not only on the field but in the locker room?
He really is. I mean, Jared brings some energy, some juice, some excitement every day, which I definitely admire. I love that because I think to play great football, to play great defense in particular, I mean, you've got to have some energy, and he definitely brings that. And he's proven it on the field. Yeah. And I think the other guys look up to him and respect that. And like I said, we're expecting some big things this season.
Do you consider yourself the leader of this group?
Yeah, I'd say, it's been a great opportunity to be able to be a leader, but also, that's what's great about our defense is everyone kind of holds that standard and we expect everybody to be a leader, everybody to kind of, hold each other accountable.
Jared Fotu, junior linebacker out of Lone Peak High School. Just give us a quick rundown, those who aren't acquainted with you, where you grew up, what you're all about.
Yeah, I'm from Alpine, Utah. Went to Lone Peak High School. I've been here for 3 years now. I'm married to the love of my life, Lucy Fotu. It's been a great journey here, and yeah, that's me.
He knows the right words to say, doesn't he?
He does. He does.
So, talk about what have you noticed here compared to other places you've been, and what's your feeling going into this home opener against such a great team as Montana State?
The execution level that we have at practice is really high, and that's just very similar to the places I've been. And coming up on Montana State, they're going to be a physical team, and we're going to be physical too, so we're not too worried about that.
Greg Stevens is your offensive coordinator. Just talk about, and he's the one that brought you here, really. Just talk about him and his philosophy and how you are incorporated into what he wants to get done.
We're looking to really run that ball, but we're also looking to get the ball to the tight ends also. We like to push the ball down the field with passes, deep passes, and intermediate. So we're going to look to execute on those, and we're going to be just fine.
And Coach, as we take a look at Greg Stevens at work at fall camp, Why did you want to bring him in with his offensive scheme?
You know, I've known Greg for several years. When I was coaching at Utah State, he was on the staff that replaced our staff. I've known Greg ever since then. We've stayed in touch, got to know each other. And you just look at his track record as an offensive coordinator, and I mean, he's got a lot of proven success. And I love the fact that he does a great job of adapting to his personnel. It's not just one set system. I mean, he will play to whatever his strengths are, and really good football coach.
Very cerebral, but he has his moments where he gets after it. You've noticed some of those moments?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Couple of them today.
What did you do?
Just mess up on a globe.
Oh, okay, all right. And you're under new defensive coordinator Patrick Moynihan. Just talk about his philosophy and how you're integrating your talents to what he wants you to do.
Yeah, Coach Moynihan's a great coach. You know, he's off the field, man, he's the most mellow, like, doesn't talk very much. But on the field, man, he'll get after you. But I love it, you know, it's that factor of accountability, and that's really what he's installed into this defense is accountability. Everyone doing their job, everybody, you know, just doing their 111, and I think it's built a great culture on the defensive side, just being able to everyone play together and play for each other, and yeah.
He's pretty proud of that bucket hat, isn't he?
It fits him good.
And you have a history with Coach Moynihan. That's probably why you gave him this opportunity.
We had a chance to work together for 6 years at Stanford, and I was just really impressed with Coach Moynihan. Just very smart, very hard worker. You know, love what he does defensively, and you know, really glad to have him here.
All right, we have tight end Eni Falai, linebacker Jared Fotu, Coach Lance Anderson. We're going to continue the Lance Anderson Coaches Show when we come back. We will look ahead to the Bobcats of Montana State, 4th-ranked team in the country. That's when we come back.
Yesco is a proud partner of Trailblazer Sports Vision and Utah Tech Athletics. Yesco specializes in manufacture of custom electric signs and displays. From the smallest to the largest, Yesco can design, manufacture, install, and maintain an identification package that is tailored to your specific needs. Yesco has been serving Utah businesses for well over 100 years with quality signage and exceptional service. To see how Yesco can serve you, go to yesco.com.
You know, we hitting every day, ain't nothing new. We're gonna keep working every day. Let's do it. Like I said, we hitting for sure. Let's get down. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah. Brothers. Let's go. Come on, man. That's too easy. That's like 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 too easy. Come on, come on, boy. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
And that's just some of the sounds of the game, sounds of fall camp. We'll have sounds of the game every week on our pregame show. Eni Falai, tight end, Jared Fotu, the linebacker. And I got to ask you, you were leading the chant, Gatorade Party. What is that all about?
It's something that our defense coordinator, Coach Moynihan, said one time in a meeting, and it kind of just stuck. You know, after we get a 3rd down stop or a 4th down stop and come off the field, drink Gatorade with your buddies. That's the Gatorade Party.
That you guys have taken that to heart. I mean, every time there's a good play, they bounce up and down and just say Gatorade Party.
But it's the truth. You know, defensively, that's what you want to get a stop. You want to get off the field. And then once you do, you gather together with your teammates, you drink Gatorade. It's a Gatorade party.
And Annie, you guys come up with something? You're sick and tired of that Gatorade chant on the other side?
I don't like the Gatorade chant. We got to come up with something that's offense.
Yeah. Well, Powerade Party. No?
No, it's not the same.
No? You don't like that?
Same, right?
Okay. We'll think of something. All right, guys. Saturday night, 8 o'clock, season opener, Greater Zion Stadium. Montana State ranked 4th in the country in FCS. They're 1-0. They beat New Mexico in Albuquerque, FBS school. They were down 17 points, Coach. and then they came back. And it all starts with our quarterback, Jared. You got to pay attention to this guy, right? Tommy Mellott, probably one of the top 3 dual-threat quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah, very talented. I mean, that was an impressive win. To be down 31-14, score 21 unanswered points on the road against an FBS team. But they are a tough, physical team. They are very good up front, big, physical. They got good skill players, and then the quarterback starts it all.
The quarterback, then they got 22 Scott Trey Humphrey, and then number 23 Adam Jones. And Jared Fotu, they put up 470 yards rushing against you guys last year, 362 yards Saturday against New Mexico. You got your hands full, don't you?
Yeah, they're a great offense. They got some great backs and obviously a great quarterback. And it all starts with stopping the run, and it makes it a little bit harder with a dynamic quarterback that can run. But that's our focus, stopping the run and taking it from there.
That's his main receiver, McCall. He had a touchdown. And then when you look at their defense, boy, they're hogs up front. They've got some size and speed and all-conference players in the Big Sky. And they did a pretty good job, especially in the second half against New Mexico and against the run. But in that first half, there were a lot of open spaces in the passing game. Your eyes have to light up when you watch that first half and where you could maybe find an empty space.
For sure. I mean, we have great matchups all around the back end. And with our receivers, we're just looking to make dynamic plays and explosive plays.
So, Coach, you look at that. They've had one game to get the jitters out, and a lot of people who haven't had experience on their team. But they don't know who you are and your schemes, really. They have to go all the way to Southeast Louisiana, maybe Stanford, to find some tape. So who has the advantage there? The guys that have the first game under their belt, or you that they don't know anything about?
I'm not sure. And in the end, it probably evens out. But I'm glad we've seen some films. We can compare that to last year and get an idea of what to expect. But in the coaching world, you always hear that the most improvement on a team usually comes between your first and second game. So that may be their advantage, but it all evens out.
And Jared, you were up in Montana, taking on Montana State last year in the opener. That was tough. That was kind of brutal, actually. I mean, you found out how really good they are, and that you guys cannot misstep, really, because they'll take advantage of it. That's kind of the team they are. They're a veteran team. They've been there before. They've been to the playoffs 5 straight seasons.
Yeah, they're a great team, but I think we're a great team as well. I think we match up really well with them, and I think we'll be able to, shock a lot of people this weekend and be able to go out there and show really the whole country that we can play some ball. Yeah,
they were an 11.5-point favorite, I think, in Albuquerque. They're going to be, 20-something point favorites against you guys. Do you even look at that? Does that bother you guys?
No, not
Any?
at all.
Not at all.
Bothers me. Got to show you a little more respect, don't they, Coach?
Well, the thing is, we know that they are an established program. We're kind of unknown at this point, but we embrace that role, and we know that we have to earn respect. That's why we're very excited to go out and show people what we can do Saturday night.
Any final thoughts on what you expect and the excitement now you're 4 days away?
I mean, I'm just excited to get out there and execute. I know all my guys are ready, and we're just ready to do it.
Jared?
Yeah, just ready to play some ball and do our thing.
And Coach, your first head coaching job in college, you got to, on a personal note, you got to be excited and kind of the nerves going a little bit.
Yeah, very much, but we are very excited. I mean, we have worked really hard as a team to get to this point, and I'm very excited to see where we are on Saturday night.
Well, all the hard work's got to pay off on Saturday night, right? 8 o'clock kickoff against Montana State. You can watch the game on ESPN Plus and also listen to it right here on the Fan Sports Radio Network. And don't forget that our pregame show on Trailblazer Sports Vision on YouTube and the Fan Sports Radio Network will begin at 7 o'clock. The radio guys will take the first half hour. Then Max Christensen, former player for the Trailblazers, will join me in the booth. We'll take the second half hour of the Trailblazer kickoff show and lead you up to kickoff. Should be fun. Good crowd. We got new bleachers for the students in the north end zone. We've got chairback seats now on the west side. No more bench seats. So things are looking up. Now you just got to go out and get a win, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right, Annie Falahi, Jared Fotu, Coach Anderson, thanks, and 3 more sleeps. Let's see, what is it? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 more sleeps. So I'm excited.
We're getting close.
All right, that's it for the debut edition of the Lance Anderson Coaches Show. We'll see y'all Saturday night. Pregame show, 7 o'clock. Thanks for watching. See ya.